Hello, this is Mustardketchupmayo 1000, and we're back with another installment of UFC Fight Night, or just UFC predictions and picks. This week it's going to be UFC Fight Night Baku, Azerbaijan, with the main event being Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Looks like a pretty good card compared to other ones these past few weeks, but we got to first start off with last week's cards, which was UFC Fight Night Manel Cap versus Horiguchi 2. I did pretty good. No, not really. Actually, I only went 7-12. I feel like I did pretty good predicting the main event and some of the methods of victory. Aside from that, not the greatest numbers anyways. Got Hydra Mill wrong. I got what's his face? What's his name? Andre Lima. He sucks. You can't be losing to Kevin Borjas as a minus 770 favorite. Cannot be doing that. Hydra Mill is not that good anymore, sadly. Alan Nascimento losing that is crazy. Michael Aswell Jr. is also losing is crazy. Otari's just someone who hugs on the wall. He's not that good. Besides from that, Cup looks really good. Hope he gets to fight Joshua Van in the future. Aside from that, this is this week's card, which is Baku, UFC Baku. But first, we're going to start off with the curtain jerker, the fight that starts it all. It's Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. I'm taking Jefferson Nascimento just because he has better comp. A lot of Abdullayev card or fights or opponents. This is the only guy that looks good. 3-1, and that was his most recent fight. Everything after that was not looking too good. 7-9, 2-0, 14-7, 9-0. So that can already tell me that anybody with like a decent record and like with a good level of comp is gonna lose. He's gonna lose to. Nascimento is just gonna give me KO round one. I feel it already. It's a close fight though. It could go either way, but that's why I feel like it's gonna happen. Next fight. Bekzat Almayev Almakan. Bekzat Almakan versus John Matsumoto. Taking John Matsumoto by decision. There's a good chance Almakan could actually do pretty good on this one. He didn't do that bad when he came in. But losing to Alexander Topuria does not tell me, or does not make it look good for you. John Matsumoto's losses are both by split decision, and they could have gone his way. He's really good. Almakan, not so much. Definitely going to win by decision, I believe. But aside from that, nothing much else to say besides that. They both have a really promising future. I think Matsumoto's just going to win. Next fight, Daniil Doncheko versus Theodore Bergen. I'm taking Daniil Doncheko KO round one. Nothing to say about this one. Theodore coming off of a promotion, 50-50 promotion where he's fighting Cage Warrior and an FCR. I don't know what FCR is. I'm assuming that's the Swedish promotion. Never heard of it. That's not a bad thing. Just never heard of it. Aside from that, his opponents don't seem to be that good of comp, except for two most recent ones. But then he loses to almost everything else, or everybody else. Not everything. Everybody else. And Daniil Doncheko, while looking kind of bad against Alex Morono, he still is promising, and they're still building up. He's only 24. So I feel like this is just another stepping stone for him. I expect him to win by KO round one. Next fight, Can Offley versus Javier Reyes. It's going to be Javier Reyes round one. I think it's going to be done exactly like the Myron Santos KO. Ken Offley should be coming on, or should be 2-3 in his last 5, but he kind of won the Yiza somehow, or the Yiza fight somehow. So yeah, I trust Javier Reyes to win this one pretty easily. So I'm expecting him to win. Next fight, Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Andrei Puliev. I think I originally had Puliev by decision, just because I know he doesn't get KO'd very easily. I think Ruziboyev will win just because he has better striking. Or I feel like this is a good chance for an upset to happen, in my opinion. Ruziboyev really only loses to people who are at a high level to some degree. I don't know who else he's lost to outside of the UFC, but I know he lost to Joaquin Phoenix outside of the UFC. Puliev, I think is pretty good. I want to pick him, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to be playing it safe and going with Ruziboyev. But I think Puliev might pull off an upset on that one. Ruziboyev just has more experience, and that's what I'm going for in this fight. That's going to be my deciding factor in this fight. But yeah, next fight. Abdul Rahman Yakiev versus Julius Walker. I think it's going to be a Yakiev KO round 1 or submission. I think it's just going to finish in round 1. I don't think it would be a submission, but I can't be mistaken. Regardless, he's going to finish him round 1. Yeah, nothing else to say about that one. Next fight, Farman Hassanov versus Eric Nolan. I had Eric Nolan KO round 1 originally. I have Farman now, but I'm like 50-50 on this one, if I'm being honest. Eric Nolan looked good against Serserkayev, but then his competition isn't the greatest. Like, it doesn't tell me much in a good way. So I feel like Hassanov has a good chance of winning, and this is in Azerbaijan, and he's at ATT. I think this is kind of set up for him. So I'm expecting it. Hassanov KO round 1. I'm gonna take round 2 actually. Round 2. Next fight. Abus Magomedov versus Mikhail Olejniczak. This is Olejniczak KO. I think the line is pretty fair. I think Abus has a good chance of taking him down, but since Mikhail has been fighting with the Fighting Nerds, I think he's been working on his grappling. I really hope he has. I cannot remember if his grappling looked better against Marc-Andre Barriault or GM3 or Cedric Dumas, but this is a pretty high jump, or pretty fast jump, from Marc-Andre to Abus. But regardless, I think he can finish him. Abus tends to be a little bit chinny, so taking him by KO round 2. I think round 1's they're gonna be feeling each other out, seeing how each other, or I guess downloading data, if you want to put it that way. Aside from that, yeah, next fight. Next fight is going to be Bruno Ferreira versus Ikram Oliskerov. Taking Bruno Ferreira for KO round 2. Ikram isn't bad, but he isn't the greatest either. Bruno Ferreira, on the other hand, I think he still has a good chance to come back from the KO loss to RoboCop. Ikram, it goes 50-50. I think Ikram, he just tends to take too long of layoffs. Doesn't tell me he wants to be fighting like that or very professionally. Bruno, on the other hand, does. So I'm taking Bruno by KO round 2. Round 3. Not round 2, round 3. Next fight. Asu Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. I believe I had Charles Johnson originally. I'm taking Asu. I feel like Charles Johnson just goes back and forth. He either wins and he loses, or he loses and he wins. I thought he lost against Bruno Silva. Asu, proved me right that you're better than him. Charles Johnson just has really bad IQ when he fights, and I think that's going to be shown again when he fights Asu. Next fight, Nazim Sadikov versus Mateus Camilo. I'm taking Sadikov KO round 2. It could definitely finish round 1, but I think KO round 1 is pretty fair. He lost to Fiziev, or Sadikov lost to Fiziev by KO. He still did good. I think that's not something to beat yourself up about. Kind of at first. I just remembered Fiziev lost to Eric Nolan or Tom Nolan. I forgot which one it was. That's not just something to beat yourself up about, but he looked really bad. He looked really, really bad. So, but it's not. This is not. Mateus Camilo is not somebody up there, in my opinion. He's not the greatest. So, Sadikov, proved me right. KO round 2. Next fight is Mikhail Pereira versus Shara Magomedov. I'm taking Magomedov by decision. Mikhail is not good. Proved that to us. He went to a split decision with Zach Reese. He must have been off the sauce, or he got caught using sauce or something, because he is not good anymore. I don't know what happened. He's just not good anymore. So yeah, taking Shara by decision. I'm pretty confident on that one. I don't think he KOs Mikhail. But yeah, that's what I got. So the main event, Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Taking Manuel Torres by KO round 3. I think I'm going to change it to round 2. Pretty confident on round 2. Fiziev is just really old now. It's kind of sad. But he has too much wear and tear. Yeah, I think it really comes down to just how much he's gone through, pain and like injury and like damage. He's not bad. I think he's decent, but I think he should really be fighting at featherweight. I understand why he fights at lightweight, but he should realistically be fighting at featherweight. So yeah, Manuel Torres by KO round 2. And that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Trying to pump out the video as fast as I can. So I don't think I've been doing too good on some of the cards. So this one, hopefully I do better. But aside from that, thank you for watching. This is Mustardketchupmayo 1000, and goodbye.